Hey everybody out there in YouTube land. Today we're gonna do what we do every day pretty much here on the Guitologist channel. We're gonna meet some interesting and stimulating people of an ancient culture and kill them. And plus we're gonna look at this Gibson, well, I'm hesitate to even know what to call it, to be honest. It might be a mutt, it might not be a mutt. It might be something that's a little bit weird. The chassis is actually labeled a GA20, but as most of us who follow Gibsons know, the GA20 never had a covering like this. Now, I would say that this thing was recovered, and it does have some evidence of having been recovered. However, it has some evidence also of not having been recovered. If we look at it a little more closely, for instance, we will see that the handle has a sample of the original covering inside here, and it is the cream color covering that we are more likely to associate with amps. I think like the GA, the Gibsonette, whatever model number that was. It's either GA8 or GA9. I'm drawing a brain fart. But one of those had this color covering, and this does seem to match this covering fairly closely, although it's not exact. This has more of a cracked desert kind of a texture to it, whereas this is a little more straight across. Now, I just don't know really what to say about the covering, except that it may or may not be original. Now, I would say that this handle is likely not original, and it does have some evidence of not being original. It has some screws here instead of what we would normally see, which is rivets riveting this on. So that tells me this handle is probably a replacement handle, but I also find it odd that it's a replacement handle in this color that just so happens to match this color on this amp. And you can see this thing is filthy. I mean, it's just literally filthy. This belongs to a customer. I haven't been told to clean it. I've been told basically to go through it and make the electronics correct. So unfortunately, we're not going to get to see me really do this thing a lot of favors and clean it up. I'm not going to allow the customer to do that himself, but we are going to go through it electronically and clean it, see what's wrong with it, see what's original, and by the end of this video, we will have taken over the world. So if that's something that you'll be interested in, stick around. Okay, looking at the back side of the amp here, we can see the crustiness kind of just continues up on the faceplate. Pretty grimy, pretty rusty. Could stand to be cleaned. Again, not something I was really told to do. I may give it a little bit of elbow grease just to, make it a little more presentable. These knobs appear to not be original. These should have been brown chicken head knobs, and they are black, so those are probably unoriginal. Again, this is a GA20 chassis. The chassis looks to me like it's one of the earlier ones, like I don't know, like maybe the early 50s chassis. We will look at some codes and see what we can ascertain about it. The cabinet has the style of a late 50s cabinet. So, late 50s style cabinet, early to mid 50s style chassis by the look of it. Not, again, we're not 100% sure on that, but that's just kind of my preliminary view here. It's definitely, these corner protectors are definitely added, so somebody really didn't do it any favors there, but that might have also been to hide this recovering work that I'm also guessing happened. So, whatever we can say about it, it does have some unoriginal aspects. Obviously, there's a new Weber speaker, and that's one of the earlier Webers. That's, I think, from when Ted Weber was still alive. It might be like from the 90s or something. Classic Alnico. Probably a real nice speaker. We plugged this thing in and did some tests, and it just crackling all over the place. If you try to hit any low notes at all, it just static and crackle, and mainly it's from coming from the tone knob. So, you know, any kind of vibration is just sending these knobs haywire because they're so dirty. And I'm suspecting actually that these knobs are going to need to be replaced entirely because I think the coating in there is just rubbed completely off, probably inside the pots. So we are probably going to have to replace one or maybe two of those pots, and we'll definitely have to clean those, clean all the sockets, and we're going to spray everything out as well. I mean, again, you can see it's pretty filthy down inside there too. We may as well go ahead and get a look while we have it open here. But you can see a lot of work has been done on it. All of these resistors have been replaced. These caps are definitely replaced. Those red ones back there might be original, but I don't think so. No, they're not. They're not. They're vintage. I think they're Sangamo, but they're not. I think they're Sangamo. Yeah, they are, but they're not original to the amp. This one I don't think is original either, but it possibly could be. This is unoriginal, so it has had some work done. I don't know to exactly what standard the work looks a little bit. I mean, it's not too bad, but it just looks dirty, grimy, kind of slapdash in here. So we're going to do a little bit better job. We're going to clean out all the sockets and just go through it entirely. Let's look at the back door while we have it off. It matches the material that we have on the rest of the amp, and this is what's kind of giving it away as probably being recovered, because we can see a line here where someone has recovered it. This is not something that would have been done at the Gibson factory for sure. So I'm just by this I'm able to pretty much ascertain this has to have been recovered, this amp. And plus just the fact that we never see GA20s with this kind of covering pretty much seals the deal for me. And also the fact that instead of rivets here we see screws. That tells me that this handle was replaced, and when they did the replacement they used a handle with the cream color. So, you know, that's kind of our forensic investigation of the originality of this amp. Now let's get into the guts of it. Okay, we have the chassis out of this amplifier and getting a little bit of a closer look at it. And one of the first things I notice is are the transformers. The output transformer is unfortunately not original. It has been replaced. Not sure what that transformer is or what who made it, but it's definitely not original. This transformer, however, is original, and I'm not sure if you can see or not, but it does have a GA20P model number for on the transformer. That's kind of telling Gibson which amplifier this transformer belongs on, the GA20. It does have a code 166 1, which is 1951, 17th week of 1951. So this, as I suspected, this is an early 1950s chassis from a GA20. Either that, or I suppose, I mean, even this could be non-original to the chassis, but I'm thinking this is, and we'll actually look at the pots as well. Actually, we may as well do that now. Let's check out the pots and see if they give us any more clues. Yep. 19th week of 1951, it looks like on that pot. Yep. Same there, I think. Looks like the same there. And I believe those are the date codes. Let's look on the back. But you can just see how just kind of dirty this thing is on the inside. When you have pets, this is what happens. It's just part of it, I guess. Let's see. There actually are some other codes. They're on the other side, but I'm pretty confident in saying that this is indeed a 1951 GA20 chassis that has been inserted into a about a probably 59 to 1961 cabinet, and even the cabinet has been recovered. So this is kind of a hodgepodge. You can see here these staples. This would not have been something Gibson did. The staples, unless somebody, I guess, maybe restapled these. It's a possibility, but this stuff does not look factory Gibson to me. Maybe some of you Gibson amp aficionados, fellow Gibson amp aficionados, can inform me a little further on that. But yeah, this is a early 50s, 1951 to be more precise, chassis shoved into a later model cabinet with a Weber speaker, non-original output transformer, and it looks like somebody also tore out the original, which is kind of unfortunate because it would have told us what amplifier came in this cabinet. But there was a schematic over here, and you see it's been a while since this thing has been out. We've got some spider eggs there. I'll dispose of those. Last thing we want, spiders running around, crawling out of our amplifier, crawling up our guitar cable, right up to our guitar, onto our fingers, scaring the hell out of us while we're trying to play to 50,000 screaming fans. But yeah, we're going to go through this thing, probably pop these, at least this tone knob, because this tone knob is just scratchy as hell. It's just, I mean, when you hit a note even, it's just like, you can't get anywhere on this thing where it won't start scratching. So I'm thinking all of the carbon, the trace carbon is pretty much worn off, probably. And I mean, it's from 1951 and it looks well worn, so it would not surprise me a bit if that carbon was just worn off. And I think it's also worn off of this one. So let's pop the let's actually try to clean them first, I guess, and then see what that does. If it doesn't help, we will pop these out and replace them. Well, there's another mystery solved. The output transformer is actually a Hammond, and there's the model number and everything. And this actually gives us a little better look at this other transformer as well, since we have it in the light. You see clearly there, 166, 1951, 17th week. Not the greatest shape on the faceplate, but I think actually with a little bit of elbow grease and maybe some oil on a rag or something, we could probably polish that up pretty good. Which I might as well go ahead and do for the customer. I know it's not really what I'm paid to do, but wouldn't hurt. Okay, I'm going to see if I can reproduce this kind of unusual and a little bit alarming problem. I'm going to turn the amp on. Okay, while everything's warming up, you can see here the Joule light, indicator light is on. Okay, we can hear it. We hear a little bit of popping occasionally. If I start turning this tone knob, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Okay. But look at the power indicator light. It's actually dimming and going off at times with the sound. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. But if I turn this tone knob enough, it's actually, I mean, it's going, this indicator light is actually dimming with that noise. Again, kind of alarming. I've already cleaned these pots, cleaned the jacks. just a weird thing. I've chopsticked around in here on the connections to the tone knob, and I don't think it's the connections to the knob. It seems like that tube is a bit suspect right there. I mean, they're all a little bit microphonic anyway, but right there, listen to that. Coming right through the speaker. Even with the volumes all the way down. I'm going to replace those Sangamo caps right there for sure. And I may even replace these. Something's definitely not right there. It could be that this ground is not tightened down enough. There's a ground lug right there. And it could be it's just not tight enough to get good ground. I don't know, but I do know that it's kind of scary when your indicator light suddenly dims with a big loud popping noise. Well, so far I haven't been able to recreate it again here. That's kind of unfortunate because I wanted to show on camera what was going on. I just don't know. Don't know now. Yep. One thing is for certain, I need to tighten down these lugs for this ground, and actually I might even tie it to a more secure ground. Okay, I think I figured out what the problem was with this thing. I noticed whenever I was chopsticking on this before that I was getting a lot of noise when I hit this ground lug right here at this point where everything's meeting up and going to ground. But I kind of learned after a second or two that the reason it was doing that, making that woof 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 noise every time I hit it, was because of the 6SL7 that's in this position. It was actually rattling it. So I had an extremely microphonic and bad 6SL7 tube. So I've got another one in there right now. And I'm going through the instrument channel. I've also checked the microphone channel. Still a little bit of scratchiness in this tone pot. I don't think is going to come out. I think that's in the pot itself, but I've cleaned them to the best of my ability. All the pots, all the jacks, all the sockets. Everything seems a hell of a lot better now with that new 6SL7 in there. That was my guitar jack. But at any rate, I think that was the problem. So I think we're ready to button this thing up and give it a final test. Okay, so I played through this thing briefly, and everything was a hell of a lot better. But I was getting some popping and rustling in the background, just some real faint rustling. I believe it was one of the resistors, but I wasn't quite sure which one, so I've replaced 4 resistors, this one, and a couple of others over here. Here's one, and another one underneath there. You can barely see poking out. Those are the, let's see, on the 6 SL7s, they are the screen resistors of each of the 6 SJ7s, the screen resistors, and also replaced both of the plate resistors on the 6 SL7 dual triode. So both of those plate resistors, both these screen resistors, they were real crusty, real nasty looking, and in fact, when I was taking them out, a couple of them even cracked pretty easily. This one, well, that's not one of them, but this one here is an example. Just kind of cracked out, and I think it had pretty much had it. So one of these was the culprit. Might have even been this one, not sure, but went ahead and just replaced all 4 of those. The goal here is not originality by any stretch. I mean, this is already an amplifier that's been worked on and possibly even, and probably actually even recovered different chassis in the wrong cab, wrong speaker. So I mean, this isn't a collector's piece by any means, but this will be a great player whenever we're done here, and I think this might solve our problem. So let's fire it up and see if that did solve the problem. Okay, we're finally to a point where we can test this little bad boy out. We're going to use a Strat and see what she sounds like. Right now we're in the instrument channel, and it's less than halfway up. Tone's a little less than halfway up as well.
Well, that concludes our service of this 1951 GA20 Mutt. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and we'll see y'all later.